So yeah, another day, another video talking a little bit about the Indiana Fever, and I'm gonna be real here. It is one of these things where it's very clear Stephanie White does not believe that Caitlin Clark is a point guard. So let's listen to what was said from Stephanie White during the game yesterday. Not she said during the game, the announcers. Let's take a listen.
I think what I liked most about what Steph White said when Raven Johnson's in the game, that the pace of the team picks up, that Raven Johnson is so fast with the basketball, they feel like they almost play faster with her as the one.
They play faster with Raven Johnson at the one than they do with Caitlin Clark at the one. I'm going to be real. Even the South Carolina fans don't believe that. The South Carolina fans were talking about Raven being a true point guard because she slows it down and sets things up. Even her biggest fans aren't going to say that. Even the biggest fans of what you call it, of Caitlin Clark, or is that okay? No, jeez, of Caitlin Clark wouldn't say it. Jeez, but the biggest fans of Raven Johnson wouldn't say that. They wouldn't even say they play faster. We have got a situation where Stephanie White has come out and said the team plays faster with Raven Johnson at the point. Look, I'm going to be real. I don't think Stephanie White wants to play Caitlin Clark. I don't. I think she does it out of necessity. She pulls her out after 3 minutes. After 3 minutes in games. And it's not the first or second time this has happened. There has been one game Caitlin has played more than 5 minutes consecutively in the first quarter, I think, this year. I think it was Dallas game 1. Like, Caitlin Clark is potentially, like, not even potentially, like, I've said it a million times. There is nothing personal, and I cannot stress this enough. Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White don't hate each other on a personal level. And I have had to make that so clear. And there's a big difference. There is a big, big difference. We're now at a stage that, like, do you know who the problem is for everything? For everything is Caitlin Clark. No matter what happens with the Fever. Caitlin Clark statistically was the best defender on the Fever yesterday. On a point per possession basis. They targeted her. Ironically, if Caitlin didn't foul, and 3 of her 5 fouls were phantom calls, if Caitlin was able to stay in the game, based on how they were attacking Caitlin and what Caitlin, what Caitlin did on those possessions where she was playing defense, ironically, they probably would have won. Like, she did a really, really good job on the defensive end yesterday. She was not good against Golden State. And by the way, the only time I would say Caitlin Clark was absolutely, completely garbage on defense was first half versus Dallas. Like, that was embarrassing. That's the only time I'll say it's embarrassing defense. I'm sorry. If your coach decides that they want to, you want to be attacked every single time, it's okay. And it's one, or they want to let you be attacked every single time. Okay, cool. Like, you're going to be attacked. Like, it is what it is. At the same time, clearly, with Raven Johnson being the, pace-setting point guard, then apparently, with Raven being put in a pace-setting, is the pace-setting point guard, what's the point of having Caitlin Clark? What is the point of having Caitlin Clark on the team? Caitlin Clark's not a very good shooting guard, and I think we all can be honest here. Like, when Caitlin Clark plays 2 guard, she's Marina Mabry. She is Marina Mabry when she's playing the 2. Steph White clearly wants Raven Johnson playing the 1. You trade her. You trade her. It's as simple as that. You trade her. If you don't want Caitlin Clark playing point guard, there's 14 other teams that do. And if anyone says, oh, this team won't, yes, they will. Yes, they will. And you're like, oh no, the aces of the point guard. They'll go and tell Chelsea, go, you are now power forward. You are now the power forward. Caitlin Clark walks in and goes, look at me, I'm the point guard now. And Chelsea Gray goes, cool. You pass me the ball and I shoot. Cool. Like, There are 14 WNBA teams that would run the play through Caitlin Clark. Except, and you even see it, and you might be saying, oh, but like Cheryl Reeve wouldn't. Cheryl Reeve is literally going your turn, my turn on pick and rolls with Courtney Williams and Olivia Miles. Caitlin Clark is at least an equivalent pick and roll navigator to Olivia Miles. She's not as good a passer, but she draws more gravity. And I'll say better. I'll say better because of how far away they have to guard her. If you had Caitlin Clark playing, if Cheryl Reeve was a coach and they were just spamming those pick and rolls, like they do 40 fucking minutes for Minnesota, the Indiana Fever are probably top of the league. They're probably top. But it's very clear Stephanie White does not want. She does not want, she does not want Caitlin Clark. And people were saying, oh, Raven Johnson was being drafted to replace Caitlin Clark at point guard. I'm going to be real. I have a feeling Raven Johnson was drafted because they said, okay, this is a point guard that we can have and we can get Caitlin Clark off the ball. But like, I'm sorry. If the goal is still to keep Kelsey Mitchell on this team and Raven Johnson is clearly being brought in to eventually be a starter, I cannot stress this enough. Caitlin Clark Raven Johnson's clearly being brought in to be a starter. She is not there to ride the bench. She is clearly being brought in there to be a long-term starter. So, like, it's one of those things now where you're like, has the plan all along to get rid of Caitlin? Has the plan all along been to get rid of her? And by the way, there's logic to it. There is logic to saying we don't want Caitlin anymore. Why? Because this is a roster built to compete without Caitlin Clark. This is a roster built to compete. Like, I'm sorry, with Caitlin, there are super highs and there are super lows with Caitlin Clark. You cannot thread water with Caitlin Clark. You can thread water with Stephanie White and co. You can absolutely thread water with her. It's as simple as that. You can absolutely thread water with Stephanie White. I don't care what anyone says. You can thread water with her. But I cannot stress this enough. There is Stephanie White clearly wants a different player than Caitlin Clark running the show. And Caitlin is not she is Marina Mabry as a two guard. And you might be saying, I'm sorry, Marina Mabry's never made an all-star team. That is what, as a shooting guard, Caitlin Clark is Marina Mabry. And teams attack her because they can. If you want to double and triple down on Caitlin Clark being a shooting guard, which you can, by everything Stephanie White has shown, it appears that yes, that's what she wants. Caitlin to be a two guard. I'm sorry, she's Marina Mabry. And for the good of the sport, a coach that believes Caitlin Clark being Marina Mabry is where she's at her best is a coach where you just can't do it. You just can't do it. Like, it's pathetic. Like, you've got Sue Bird, you've got other teams, you've literally got like Nate Tibbetts, all these other coaches in 2024 basically saying like, look, we're having to adjust. We don't know how. Caitlin, the way she plays, the way she pushes the tempo, that's what we're trying to stop. And Caitlin's own coach is like, Caitlin pushing the tempo. You know what, you guys want to stop that? Yeah, we want to stop it too. So don't worry, we're not going to run it. Like, it's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating. And Stephanie White going out there saying they play better at Raven, they play faster at Raven at point guard. Man, teams don't fucking guard Raven. Raven had 16 points because teams literally leave her wide open. They don't guard her. Come on now.